Hello guys. So welcome to Swing for Pips. Today we are having another episode of that's episode 2 of the weekly outlook in the forex market. For this week we are in, that's from 19th to 23rd of the month of May 2025. So as usual and as a culture here in Swing of Pips, we always start with the fundamentals, from the main fundamentals, the monthly and the weekly, then we go to the daily and then the 4 hour. And what we try to do is to find alignments among these 5 elements before we pick an entry or before we put the market direction in which we want to place our buy or place our sell. As it is, I encourage you, advise you to go back to the first episode, as the previous episode, last week episode of the analysis we've done, so you can actually follow and see how you can smoothen, go into the understanding of this week's weekly outlook, so that you can have some basic understanding of what we've done in the past coming into today, and that's this week. And so, of course, we're going to start with the US dollar. All right, the US dollar is king, and we always look at the US dollar, okay, as the number one currency in the market. And of course, this is what we're going to be having for this week. We're going to be having the DXY as of course the currency for the US, then those that are associated with the US pair, the US currency, that's the AUD USD, Euro USD. Then we look at BTC, and then we look at Euro card, and then we look at the JPY, that's the yen basket, and also we pick a currency pair from the yen basket, which is the NSD USD. So without further much ado, we go straight to the business of the day. So, of course, like we say, we always start with the fundamentals first, all right? So as for today, we'll only be looking at the US fundamentals because nothing really much happened, nothing dramatic actually happened for the yen baskets and the Swiss franc, okay? Which we like to look at the fundamentals. Okay, so we actually have some interesting data and some interesting information coming out for the fundamentals of the US dollar. All right, so looking at the US dollar, all right, I'm just going to give a brief summary of what has happened, transpired in the month of May. That's the early part of April. That's the late part of April, rather, the first month of the second quarter, and of course, the second month of the second quarter, which is May. So what we've had, the major indicators we're actually looking at right now is the GDP of the USD, which came out negative, all right, below 0. And then we have the manufacturing index that came out below 50. Okay, and we know that once the manufacturing index comes out below 50, that's not good for the USD. So we'll be having negative reports coming out. For those of us who have been keeping in touch, who have been following along, okay, I've always iterated the fact that, look, we cannot hold the US dollar right now. All we have to do is to sell it. It's not a good time to buy the US dollar in the market right now. For those of us who are trading and holding for a long time, for maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the setups the market provides for us as long-term traders, as swing traders, we are actually looking to sell the USD. So the most recent report that came out is the Moody's report. Okay, these guys what they do is to look at the health of that's the performance of the economics of different nations, different countries. They also look at the performance of the performance of major companies, major manufacturing companies, the investors, banks, hedge funds, and a lot of institutions that matter to the public domain. All right, so we also have the US-China war that have been ongoing for a while now, and we can see that the US have been collecting some blows in that regard. So I actually want to take us to the Moody's report, which is the recent data that came out. That was last week on the 16th of May, to be specific. All right, we have some very, very not so good news for the US reports, for the US currency. All right, so let me open this report here just briefly and show you what transpired. Okay, so now look at this. This is the Moody's rating, right? Once in a while you come to this website here, okay, and see what they have for us. So on the 16th of May, the Moody's rating came out and they brought a downgrade. They gave us a report showing that there's a downgrade for the US, moving from AA rating to A1 rating. That's a drop. That's a drop in the confidence when it comes to giving the US, financial aid. That's by borrowing them money to do their business. All right. I don't want to spend much time on this report, but the summary of it is that the US have dropped, okay, from the number 1 category to number 2 category. The AA plus, you can take your time to actually look at this website to see what it's all about. So the triple A here, right, is the highest form of rating for, I think, 11 countries. Yeah, I think 11 countries and some other countries. But so the US have actually dropped from one of the 11 countries that have the number 1 as the first class treatment from the Moody's reports. Okay, so they dropped from AA, from triple A to double A, and then that's number 1 on the double A. All right, so that's a drop for them, and which doesn't look good for them. All right, so without much further ado, in the fundamental aspect, let us go into the technical aspect, okay, of this weekly outlook for the US dollar. All right, so right here we start with the US dollar, okay, and of course the next order of business to come to the monthly time frame and see how we can break it down. Of course, we are technical traders, but we always keep an eye for the fundamentals. All right, so from the monthly here, we established that, okay, it's bullish. Okay, on the monthly, you can see that price have not violated this trend line, this monthly bullish trend line going upwards. That's this trend line here. Okay, it's still going upwards on the monthly time frame. Okay, and then we have this demand zone here, still intact. So buyers are actually in control on the monthly time frame. Okay, and then we go to the weekly. All right. So what we're having is this. All right, the weekly is actually bearish, just like we established from last week. All right, so what we expect price to do is for it to probably go all the way to this weekly supply zone and then come to the monthly supplies, to the monthly demand zone, realign to the monthly, and will either continue upwards or come down all the way here and continue upward. Okay, or it can decide to do this, come all the way here, eliminate this supply zone, come here, come down, and continue going up. But from the monthly standpoint, we are bullish, so the weekly is bearish. All right, so we expect price to do all these things like we said. These are all assumptions, these are predictions. All right, but we don't assume in the market. We always react. Okay, wait for price to do its thing, and then we react accordingly. Okay, so now we go to the daily time frame. What do we have on the daily time frame? All right, so the daily time frame, we can see that on the daily time frame, we can see that price have actually, violated this bearish trend line. Okay, we see price doing this. Okay, on the daily. All right, can we see this? Can see price doing this, and this here. So actually, I'll actually say that okay, until price comes to remove this supply zone before we can say that price is completely bullish. Okay, but as for now, price is still bearish. Okay, so what we're actually looking for price to do is for price to do this. Okay, come down all the way to this place and also go down, realign with the weekly time frame, and then go bearish. But for now, for those of us that want to catch quick buys to the upside, okay, the idea of this is that if you want to catch a quick buy, you cannot, you have to watch out for this area here. Once this is your best buy, all right, but you don't want to hold the dollar index for too long on a buy position, all right, just like established from the fundamental standpoint and from the commander-in-chief, which is the monthly time frame, that we are bullish. Okay, so what the weekly and daily may likely do is to realign and then go back to the monthly time frame, realign the monthly time frame before going upwards. All right, but for now, the monthly is bearish. Sorry, the monthly is bullish, the weekly is bearish, and the daily is bearish. Okay, so now we go down to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's see what price is doing at the moment. Okay, we can see what price is doing. We can see that price is doing the whole of this. Okay, we can see that price is actually bullish on the daily on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so what we expect price to do is that once if price actually comes to violate this area here, all right. Okay, but for now, actually what we expect price to do, okay, what we expect price to do is that we expect price to do this. Okay, come all the way down there. Okay, maybe have a push to the upside, get to the daily, realize with the daily, and then go down bearish. So for us that want to catch a quick buy to the upside here, you may wish to catch a quick buy to the upside here, okay, before coming down here, but you don't want to hold price more than beyond this point here before going down. All right, so if you are buying, make sure you stay very, you know, you have to stay very, active, stay very active and cautious of the fact that price will not go beyond this supply zone here on the daily. All right, so now of course we don't trade the DXY, we trade currencies that are associated with the DXY, such as the AUD USD and the Euro USD. Okay, so now we go down to the AUD USD. All right, so like I always said that the AUD USD, the Euro USD, and other pairs associated with the US dollar is a flip of the dollar index. Okay, so as a tradition, we come to the monthly time frame. Okay, from the monthly time frame, what we want to do is we can also establish that from the monthly time frame. Okay, it is a sell. The monthly time frame for the Euro USD is a sell. For the AUD USD rather is a sell. Okay, we can see we're looking forward to price actually going all the way from here where it is right now, realign with the monthly, and then continue downwards on the monthly. Then we go down to the weekly also. Okay, you can see that price is kind of making a stop, a little bit of a stop on this weekly supply zone right here. So two things may likely happen. All right, two things may likely happen. Price may come all the way to this place here where it is right now. Price may, give us some bearish evidence right here on lower time frames, and then go down, continue on the bearish, or come all the way up here and also go down. All right, so but like I said, we are still, the weekly is actually the weekly time frame for the AUD USD is actually bullish. Okay, because looking at it, we can see that price have actually broken this momentum trend line. But of course, we know that for us to establish if a trend is bullish or bearish, it has to do two things. One, it has to take out a momentum trend line. All right, and it also has to eliminate at least one zone and one opposing zone, either an opposing demand zone or an opposing bearish zone. All right, as it is right now, we are going to say that the weekly is in a bullish consolidation. All right, so until this zone right here is eliminated, all right, until this zone right here is eliminated, okay, we remain bearish, we remain bullish on the weekly time frame. So we go down, so now we go down to the daily time frame. Okay, we go down to the daily time frame here, we go down to the daily time frame. Okay, you consider the market on the daily, the market is in a range right here. Okay, however, the daily is also bullish. Okay, because price have done this, price was able to eliminate this momentum trend line, which also applies to the weekly. Okay, eliminate this momentum trend line, and then it also eliminated this zone here. All right, but right now it is in a weekly supply zone. Okay, so we're looking forward to see what price is going to do, whether maybe price may likely come down here, eliminate this place, but that's what I actually expect price to do, go all the way to the downside before going to the upside on the daily. All right, so as we're looking at that, we go down to the 4-hour time frame also. We go down to the 4-hour time frame. All right, so the same thing also applies, whether price may also do that, also come down here, come back up here, give us either a sell also, we go to the downside before going all the way to the upside. All right, so the monthly is the monthly is bearish, weekly is bullish, daily is bullish, and the 4-hour is actually bullish also. So until we eliminate this zone right here, this line right here on the weekly, on the 4-hour rather, until we eliminate this zone right here, we can actually say for sure if the 4-hour is going to be a buy or a sell. So we're going to wait for price to either break this top here or break below this place before we can actually have the confidence to either sell or buy. And of course, if price provides us the opportunity to have an entry. All right, so now we go to the next chart, all right, which is the Euro USD. So same thing applies to the Euro USD also. We start from the monthly also. Okay, the monthly is bearish, all right, because this trend line has not been eliminated, and this zone have also not been eliminated. But of course, experience will tell you that probably price may want to come all the way to this point here, all right, before going down, or it may actually take a detour from where it is right now to the downside. But like I said, we always react to what price is giving us. But however, having to bear it in mind that from the monthly time frame, we are actually bearish. Okay, so now we go down to the weekly time frame also. You can see that price is actually at a key supply area here. All right, and then we also have a reaction from this supply area on the weekly. However, the bias is that the monthly is bearish. Sorry, is bullish. The monthly is bullish because what has price done? Price have eliminated this weekly right here. Price have eliminated this weekly supply zone right here. Okay, so and also it has also eliminated this trend line. The trend line coming all the way here. Has eliminated this trend line right here. Okay, so it has removed this opposing trend line, this momentum trend line, and also taking out an opposing supply zone to the upside. So on the daily, we go down to the daily. Okay, you can see that on the daily, all right, price have actually eliminated this momentum trend line to the upside. All right, but however, for us to establish that this trend may continue downwards, we have to see that price come all the way like this, eliminate this zone right here, and continue before we can establish that it is going to realign with the monthly. However, at the moment, the daily time frame is bullish. Okay, so until this zone right here is eliminated, all right, we remain bullish on the daily time frame. However, if we want to catch some quick sell to the downside, all right, we have to be cautious of the fact that this zone right here have not been eliminated. All right, so then now we go down to the 4-hour time frame. Let me take this out right here. We go down to the 4-hour time frame. Also, I think the same analysis, as you can see, the same analysis also is playing out right here. So now the 4-hour is actually on a bearish downside, all right, because what have we seen? You can see that price have eliminated this trend line right here. Price have eliminated this trend line right here. Okay, so the 4-hour here is actually bearish. Okay, can we see this? Okay, and then now this is what I want you to observe. All right, price have actually eliminated this zone right here. Okay, price have eliminated this zone right here. So price have come down to do this. Okay, you can see price may actually come down, go all the way to this bullish, to this zone right here, this daily zone, before going to the upside. Okay, before going to the upside. But however, like I said, we are going to watch for what price action does. And for those of us that are in the mentorship group, we already know what to do. All right, okay, we know what to do. We'll be keeping tabs with these currency pairs, and so we are going to act accordingly when the opportunity presents itself. So for now, for the Euro USD, the monthly is bearish, the weekly is bullish, the daily is bullish, and the 4-hour is also bearish for now. All right, so we want to look for some quick sell to the downside. okay, before price realigns with the daily and then realigns with the weekly, and also the weekly going to realign with the monthly. Okay, so if you have come to, if you've watched all the way to this point, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also do well to also click the like button and the notification bell so you can always get notified anytime we have content like this for you. All right, so without much further ado, we also move to the next pair. Move to the next pair, which is Bitcoin. All right, let's see what Bitcoin is doing against the US dollar. We're actually on a sell right now for this particular asset class, for this particular asset. Okay, so we know that there's no contention here. Bitcoin have been bullish. All right, we can see that it has maintained this bullish trend line on the monthly time frame. Okay, we go to the weekly. It has also maintained this trend line on the weekly time frame. Okay, this is a no-brainer. All right, there's no contesting here. All right, it is bullish on the monthly, on the weekly. All right, so then on the daily also, price is also bullish. All right, however, price have actually given us a hint as to where it may likely go. Okay, so this is what I want you to see on the daily time frame. Price has produced a pattern that we have to pay attention to. Can we see this pattern right here? Okay, for those of us who are in the mentorship group, all right, we know what we are looking out for right here. Okay, so what we are looking at is this. Okay, price have come to top at this point here. It has formed a cap around here. Okay, price have been struggling with this level right here. Okay, so this is what we refer to as, as highest high. Okay, for those in the mentorship group, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now looking at this, price have given us a very funny consolidation pattern on the 4 hour. All right, so let's see what price seeks to do at this point right here. Let's see what price seeks to do at this point right here. Okay, price have actually formed some form of consolidation on the 4 hour. Okay, price have been playing in this range right here. So let's see if price is going to break to the upside or break to the downside right here. Okay, before going to the downside, so well, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Like I said, for those of us who have been aggressive, who are aggressive traders, all right, we've actually placed a sell on this. Okay, this is actually a counter trend kind of trade. We already know what to do. Okay, but of course we went in with a minimal risk, as for this is not our our trading plan, our trading plan strategy 100%. So we're actually minimizing our risks. Okay, it's more of a gamble. For those of us who want to be aggressive, we can actually place a sell on Bitcoin right now. But however, the best sell is for us to wait for price to actually eliminate this zone right here. Okay, to the downside before placing a sell when price presents us the opportunity to go in. All right, so for those of us in the mentorship group, we know what to do. All right, so right now we move to the next pair, we move to the next currency, okay, which is the euro card. All right, so looking at the euro card right here from here. Okay, so now the euro card have been giving us some signals, all right, but we're actually looking at what it's trying to do. Okay, in the sense that we are actually in a supply zone on the monthly time frame, because right now what is happening is that price is actually the monthly time frame is actually bullish. Okay, the monthly time frame is actually bullish. Okay, because it has eliminated a zone right here. It has eliminated this zone right here. There's a monthly zone, supply zone right here, indicated by this purple box. Okay, and so it has eliminated this zone right here, and now it is now in a monthly supply zone which is in control. This monthly supply zone is in control. How do you know this zone here is in control? All right, we can see that price have actually formed an exhaustion candle right here on the monthly time frame. Okay, by this pin bar right here. Okay, this bearish pin bar. Okay, so now what are we looking for? We're actually looking for bearish evidences to the downside. All right, we have to see the evidence before we make our move. All right, yes, established. Okay, established that look, in terms of trend, okay, it is a bullish trend. All right. However, a supply zone is in control. Until this supply zone is eliminated, okay, we don't buy. We don't consider buys. All right. Until it is eliminated, we don't consider buys. Okay. So we're actually looking for some bearish evidence. As for this supply and demand traders, all right, we already know what we're looking at in this area of interest on the monthly time frame. Okay, so also on the weekly is also a buy. All right, because we can see price actually breaking to the upside. We can see price actually making moves to the upside. All right, we can see price making moves to the upside. Okay, so it is a buy on the weekly. However, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, all right, price is actually in the monthly supply area, which is actually in control right now. So of course, for those of us that have been buying from this point here, for those of us that have been on the buy up to this point here, we've actually taken our profits. All right. So what we're actually looking for is that either price give us bearish evidence on the lower time frame to the downside, and then do this. For now, we're looking for bearish evidence to the downside on lower time frame. Okay. So on the daily, we can see that prices have actually broken this momentum trend line right here, this bullish trend line to the upside. Okay, so the daily is also bullish. All right, however, it is in a bullish consolidation. So either price comes to eliminate this high right here, all right, or take out this zone right here. So if price comes to take out this zone, then we can now look for bearish evidence to the downside. Okay, but for those who are aggressive traders, they've actually placed a sell. All right, they've placed a sell on the monthly time frame to actually buy, to actually sell the whole of this zone rather. Okay, we're actually having a sell on this zone right now. Okay, targeting this range right here on the monthly. Okay, but of course, what we're looking to do right now is that now that price have shown us this evidence on the daily time frame, what we're looking to do is for price to actually come and eliminate this zone also. Okay, can you see this zone right here? For price to eliminate this zone, all right, eliminate this zone, or eliminate this zone, and then go to the downside. Okay, so what we are actually looking at right here on the daily time frame is a position swing kind of trade. All right, for those of us in the mentorship group, we know what we're talking about. However, please stay away from buying this currency right now. Stay away from buying this pair right now. Okay, what you're actually looking for are actually bearish evidence to the downside. Yes, the trend, the monthly is bullish, the weekly is bullish, the daily is bullish. All right, but we can see some market exhaustion, price exhaustion in this area here. All right, so what we want to look for is a sell to the downside, because the monthly time frame is the monthly supply area is in control. All right, so going down to the 4 hour, we can also see that the 4 hour, all right, is also bullish. All right, so what applies to the daily will also apply to the 4 hour, because we'll also be looking for bearish evidence to the downside. So like I said, desist from buying this pair right now, the euro card, desist from buying the euro card right now. Okay, it's just a trading advice. All right, until price comes to eliminate this zone before we can actually look for bearish evidence, all right, to the downside. All right, so we move to the next pair. Okay, let's move to the next pair. All right, which is the yen basket. All right, last week, from last week outlook, okay, from the last week episode, we can see that we already established all this. All right, so go back to the last video and see what we did, so that you can have a clear follow through as to what we're actually doing right now in this weekly outlook. So for the yen pair, all right, we established that the monthly is bearish. Okay, because this momentum trend line has not been eliminated. This is a bearish momentum trend line and it has not been eliminated. This zone right here has also not been eliminated on the monthly time frame. So the monthly is bearish. Okay, so going down to the weekly, all right, going down to the weekly, Okay, going on to the weekly is also bearish. All right, the weekly is bearish. All right, the weekly is also bearish until this zone here right here is eliminated. All right, until this zone right here, this zone right here is eliminated to the upside, we remain bearish on the weekly time frame also. So take a mental picture of this. Well, you don't have to take a mental picture of this. You can always refer back to this video just in case you want more clarity as you analyze the weekly, that's the yen basket. All right, so come with me to the daily. All right, this is where the market actually gets interesting. Okay, so now what I'd like to point out is this. Here's the market is bearish. Okay, that's the monthly is bearish, the weekly is bearish. All right, however, we're having a sort of bullish consolidation on the monthly time frame. All right, some sort of bullish consolidation on the monthly time frame, so we have to be careful right here. Okay, what I expect this market to do is for it to come and for it to realign with the weekly and the monthly. All right, I expect the market to come and take out this zone right here. I expect the market to come take out this zone right here before going to the downside. All right, so I'm actually looking for bearish evidence right now. Even though the daily is bullish, I'm actually looking for bearish evidence to the downside on the daily. Okay, so now come with me to the 4 hour. Let's see what we have on the 4 hour. So now right now on the 4 hour, the same analysis also apply on the 4 hour. The 4 hour is bullish. However, I'm also looking for bearish evidence. I'm looking for price to come and take out this low right here. All right, and then I want to see price do this. I want to see price come break this area, come down, do this before placing sells to the downside. Of course, you know we don't actually place trade on the yen index itself. All right, what we do is to pick an associate pair that corresponds with the JPY. With the JPY, that's the yen index. All right, and then trade accordingly. Okay, so what we want to do? So the pair we're actually looking at is actually the NZD USD to trade the yen basket. So this is our most preferred currency pair. All right, so established, like I established from the last class, it is also something that is kind of cast in stone that the NZD JPY is a flip pair, a flip currency pair for the yen index. All right, so whatever analysis you do on the yen index, all right, just do a flip of it. That's what you get for the NZD JPY, the pounds JPY, the USD JPY, the AED JPY, the CAD JPY, and the CHF JPY. All right, so now that we are on the NZD JPY, all right, on the monthly, it is a bullish business. All right, it's a bullish business on the JP, that's on the monthly time frame. Okay, we can see that price is actually okay, all right, going all the way up. So it has not, it's actually started dropping, all right, but it broke this momentum trend line, but it did not eliminate this zone right here on the monthly. We can see that we had an exhaustion candle right here on the monthly, and price is actually pointing up right now. Okay, so we maintain a buy position on the monthly time frame. Okay, then now we go down to the weekly. You can see that price is actually moving to the upside also. However, for a while we were bearish on the weekly all the way here. All right, but you can see that the monthly is on this monthly demand zone right here. Okay, this monthly demand zone, which we got from the monthly time frame, is in control at the moment. Okay, it's in control at the moment. And then what we want to do is this. You can see that price has been coming down. Okay, making this, doing all this. All right, and then you can see that it has broken this momentum trend line, coming down. All right, that's the first act of war to the upside for the weekly time frame. Okay, it has broken this momentum trend line. All right, however, we also needed to eliminate this zone right here for us to continue bearish on the upside. So right now the NZD JPY is actually on a bullish consolidation because one, it has broken the bearish momentum trend line. But however, we needed to come and eliminate this zone right here. All right, so it is in a bullish consolidation. All right, so now we go to the daily. All right, so now on the daily, of course, on the daily it is bullish on the daily. Okay, you can see how price have been playing out right here. You can see price playing out. Okay, bullish, bullish, bullish. All right, so now this zone right here is holding. Okay, you can also do this. You can also come and draw a trend line right here. Okay, you also come and draw a trend line right here, and then we can see that price has come and stalled at this place right here. So it actually broke this bullish trend line on the daily. All right, however, price is actually holding here because it has not eliminated this zone, so it's also on a bullish consolidation. All right, so since price have not eliminated this demand zone right here, what we are seeking to do is to place a buy. For those of us in the mentorship group, we know what is going on. All right, a buy on this zone right here all the way to the upside. However, okay, we know how we enter the market. All right, so on the 4-hour, we can see that price is also playing around this daily demand zone right here. So we're actually looking to buy the market going upwards. All right, so don't forget you had it first here in Swing for Pips channel. All right, so keep your fingers crossed. Look at these pairs. All right, go back, take your time, do your own analysis. Don't take my word for it, okay? Don't take my word hook, line, and sinker. Look at it. Does it align with your own analysis? Okay, when you see market analysis like this, okay, take your own time to do your own due diligence. All right, that's how you grow as a student. That's how you grow as someone who wants to remain in this market for a very long time. All right, be like what we call in the Christian faith the Berean Christian, that whatever you tell them, they go back to look at the scriptures and see whether what you're saying is in alignment with the scriptures. All right, so be that kind of trader. Be a Berean trader. All right, then once you are told something, go back, do your own analysis and see what this man is saying. Is it correct? Does it align with what my trading plan tells me? All right, before you act accordingly. All right, for those of us in the mentorship group, we know that right here we don't provide signals. Okay, we really analyze the market and see how we can actually on our own as independent trader, okay, see if what has been discussed in the market outlook, all right, aligns with our own analysis. All right, so don't forget, start from the fundamentals, go to the monthly, go to the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour as a swing trader. All right, of course, we don't deal with the lower time frames. Don't do the 1 minute here, we don't do the 15, we don't do the 30, we don't do the 1 hour. All right, we do the 1 hour, but of course we know why we do the 1 hour. For those of us in the mentorship group, we know what to look for anytime we come to a particular zone or anytime we come to an area of value or a point of interest. All right, so at this point we come to the end of the weekly outlook for this week. All right, let's see what the market has for us this week. So as the market progresses throughout the week, I'll keep giving you updates as to what we are looking to do or what we have done during the week, and see how we can act accordingly as price comes to our area of value, as price provides us the opportunity, as the market provides us the opportunity. I'm wishing you a very happy week. Don't forget to swing and chill, and may the peeps forever be with us. All right, cheers. Have a happy week, have a blissful week, have a peaceful week, and of course, see you some other time. Take care and cheers. Bye.